Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. In today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to make this Gigot sleeve. In my last tutorial, I shared a video on how to make this dress. So if you're interested in learning how I made this dress, I'll be dropping the link to this dress in the description box. So I decided to make a separate tutorial on how to make the Gigot sleeve so you can easily find the tutorial on how to make this sleeve. So the first step is to draft a basic long sleeve. And I have a tutorial on my channel on how to draft a basic long sleeve already. So I'll be dropping the link in the description box. So since I already have my drafted sleeve, I folded my lace fabric into four and then I placed the basic long sleeve directly on the fabric to cut out exactly the same shape. After cutting out my sleeve, I had two sleeves, and that's because I folded the lace fabric into four. After this is done, the next step is to cut the shorter sleeve. To do this, I folded my Ankara prints into two and I placed the Ankara fabric below the longer sleeve to trace out the armhole directly on the Ankara fabric. The next step is to mark my desired sleeve length for the short sleeve. I want my short sleeve length to be 11 inches, so I added extra 1 inch to the M, which made it 12 inches altogether. So I'm going to mark 12 inches to rule a straight line. So because I'll be pleating the center of the shorter sleeve, I added extra allowances to the armhole. I added 3 inches. So if you want your shorter sleeve to be bigger and fuller than mine, then you can add extra allowances. But I worked with just 3 inches because I'm on a slim side and I don't want the sleeve to be too big. Now I'm going to extend this point vertically downwards to the hem. After I've done this, I'll go ahead to trim out my shorter sleeve. After cutting the sleeve, I placed it on my Ankara fabric to cut out the second sleeve. Now, after cutting out the sleeves, you need to cut out the lining for this shorter sleeve. But since I already had leftovers for this particular Ankara, I decided to use the Ankara as my lining. So what I did was to place this short sleeve on the Ankara to cut out two pieces, which I would be using for the lining of both sleeves. So this is one of the short sleeve. I'm going to place the lining directly on it, right side to right side facing each other. Like I said, I'm using the Ankara print as my lining, but if you are using your lining, just follow the same process. Now I'm going to stitch the hem of both the lining and my actual fabric together, and I will repeat the same sewing process for the second sleeve. After stitching the ends together, I would spread out the sleeve and then I would adjust the actual fabric upward by half inch. After adjusting, I would flip the sleeve to the right side of the sleeve. Here you would notice that the lining is half inch above the actual fabric, so I'll go ahead to trim out the excess lining at the top. And the reason I did this is because after stitching the sides of the sleeve, I don't want the lining to be exposed at the bottom of the sleeve. The next step is to spread out the longer sleeve. This is the right side of the lace fabric, and then I would place the armhole of the short sleeve directly on the armhole of the longer sleeve. So what I did next is to pin the ends of the sleeve together on this side. And then I went ahead to pin the center of the short sleeve on the center of the longer sleeve. After pinning the centers together, you'd notice that there's an excess fabric on this side for the shorter sleeve. So what I'm going to do is to pleat the excess fabric to fit in, and then I'll go ahead to pin the pleats directly on the lace. Now from this other end of the sleeve, I would pin the armhole of the shorter sleeve to the armhole of the longer sleeve together as well. And then you'd notice that there's an excess fabric on this side as well. So what I'm going to do is to pleat it in the center of the sleeve, just the way I did for the other side. And after pleating, I would pin this together. After pinning, I took the sleeve to my sewing machine to stitch the edges of the armhole by half inch. After stitching the edges together, I folded the sleeve into two, making sure that the sides are placed equally on each other. I'll take the sleeve to the sewing machine to stitch the sides by 1 inch following the direction of my finger, and I repeated the same sewing process for the second sleeve. So this is the sleeve after I've turned it to the right side of the fabric. Alright, so this is how simple it is to make the Gigot sleeve. The final step is to attach the armhole of the sleeve to the armhole of my dress. So I'm just going to attach it by half inch, and that is all for this tutorial. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe, share and like my tutorial, and also put on your notification bell to be notified when I upload new tutorials. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next tutorial.